Nashville, Tennessee is known as America's music city, where country hits are recorded and fans flock to hear their favorite singers. Less known is the city's connection to the 19th Amendment, which legally granted women the right to vote back in 1920. Special correspondent Kat Wise visited an historic hotel in Nashville where a hard-fought battle for that right was waged.
Nashville's Hermitage Hotel, completed in 1910, just steps from the state capitol, has been a favorite gathering spot over the years for locals, politicians, and celebrities, including Amelia Earhart and Elvis Presley. But the hotel is cemented in history because of a group of women who helped change civil rights in America more than 100 years ago.
What would we have seen here in the lobby in the summer of 1920?
We would have seen women in white dresses. It was summertime, and summertime in Tennessee is hot.
Local historian Carol Busey says in 1920 it became clear Tennessee was going to be the final state needed to ratify the 19th Amendment. That summer, local and national suffrage leaders, as well as anti-suffragists, converged on Nashville.
The lobby of the Hermitage Hotel in some ways is a character in the story because it gets prominence. This is where all the deals were made. This was the scene of the action.
It became known as the War of the Roses. From a suite on the third floor, suffragists like Carrie Chapman Catt advocated for the right to vote, wearing yellow roses. And on the 8th floor, those who opposed suffrage, including Tennessee native Josephine Pearson, wore red roses.
The lobby is just a swarm of people debating.
This documentary from Nashville Public Television highlights the tension in the hotel that summer.
We go up and down on the elevator, and best friends wouldn't speak to each other. It was such a heated campaign.
The Hermitage Hotel, as I told you, was the scene of many fist fights.
Busey says the work done by so many women to earn the right to vote, from the Seneca Falls Convention to the fight at the Hermitage Hotel, has often been overlooked or forgotten in history.
There was no awareness whatsoever of any of the things related to women's suffrage. In fact, until the 60s, there was really no such subject as women's history offered in colleges, undergraduate or graduate level.
The Hermitage Hotel's own history was also lost for a time. During the 1960s and 70s, the building fell into disrepair and was closed. Local preservationists saved it, and the hotel underwent major restorations in the early 1980s and 2000s. In 2020, the hotel was named a National Historic Landmark, and another major remodel began. Today, the luxury hotel commemorates its suffrage history in both subtle and obvious ways.
What happened here?
Dee Patel manages the hotel, the first woman to do so.
So the 8th floor was the floor in which the anti-suffragists would bring up legislators to sway their votes because they noticed that they were wearing the yellow rose, or perhaps if they weren't wearing the yellow rose, would bring them up to the 8th floor and get them drunk off of Jack Daniel's whiskey.
Today, room 812, the infamous Jack Daniel's suite, looks quite a bit different than in 1920, but there remain glimpses of its past.
And Dallas Dudley is depicted here, and you see the roses. That are a nod to the history. And so throughout the guest rooms and throughout this particular suite, you will notice artifacts and ways in which we've been able to celebrate and cherish and respect history.
Like this piece of art, paper cut to resemble the bottom of a whiskey glass, and a bird breaking through a paper bag in Carrie Chapman Catt's former room overlooking the Capitol building. The hotel also honors its past through tea. A suffrage-themed tea service is offered several times a week. Patel and I shared a cup on the mezzanine.
Afternoon tea was enjoyed often as women gathered, and it was those gathering moments in which the organization of the suffrage movement began in Seneca Falls.
But in the end, it was men who determined the fate of the 19th Amendment on August 18th, 1920.
Here we have a picture of Harry T. Byrne, who was the youngest legislator at the time, and he cast the deciding vote.
Tom Vikstrom, the Hermitage's historian, explained Byrne's role in the historic vote.
He had received a letter from his mother that very morning encouraging him to do the right thing. And he had had a red rose on his lapel, meaning he was going to vote against it. It was deadlocked with a 48-48 tie, and he changed his vote to a yes.
The final vote tally was 50-46 in favor of ratification.
There was pure pandemonium. The suffragists are crying and hugging each other. Rose petals were everywhere.
Despite the victory that day, many women, especially Black women, continued to face discriminatory voting laws for decades.
At the end of the day, in 1920, men in this hotel in the General Assembly were taking votes about women's rights. They were making the decisions for women and about women. And we are still in the throes of that very same debate today.
For PBS News Weekend, I'm Kat Wise in Nashville, Tennessee.